Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another ECM repair video. This time is on a 2013 GMC Equinox or Chevrolet Equinox. Customer concern, no start, no communication, dead computer. As you will see right now, the computer is actually fixed. I had the cover removed here. This is for Manuel Pinto here in Leesburg, Virginia. I think that's the last address I got from him. I want to show you that now we got 5 reference, and I'm going to remove this is what I have connected in order to that read the 5 reference. This computer has 4 5 reference, all are working. This is the CAM communication, and that is the VIN number of the vehicle. Um, I have everything nice and connected. It was very hard to repair because the way of this computer is built. Let me show you a few of the pictures. Let me see right here. So I got, this same setup. Actually, you know what? Now the video is recording on the screen as well. And believe it or not, I was talking to myself because I went already through a lot of stuff and it wasn't recording the camera that I'm holding in my hand. And as you can see right now, the scanner is on actual data folder. So I selected data stream. I can go back so you guys can see where I'm actually what I am. So this is the quick test, and I selected the ECM and then enter in here. I can read the data stream, and very nice in here for fuel system data. It checks all the fiber reference. Again, like I said, you see we got 4 of them. So I'm going to select it and see the status of that circuit, because it's very important. If one of them is not working, and they're completely separate, believe me, this is going to the same voltage regulator, but they're separate inside. So one can be working and the other one will not be working. It's completely separate. But as we can see, they're all 4 working perfectly, and this was one of his concerns. We had the CAN network, and that should not even point on the screen because you guys are now having the screen recording working in there. Yep, it's going. So going on the information, this computer for what I need, again, no communication, no start, no crank, no start, no communication. I need to make the computer back alive. And I checked and it was completely dead. So I did the same check. It was no fiber reference, no communication, everything was dead. All right, so, but on this computer, it has 3 connectors, as you can see, blue, black, and gray. Blue is connector X1, black X2, and gray X3. Pretty easy when you have the car, right? But not in my hands because it was nothing to really show me which connector it is. They're all 73 pins. They all have 73, can be power or can be grounds. Like you can see in X2 and 3, 73 is grounds, and in X1 connector 73 is actually power. So how I figured that out? Well, again, doing my homework, I'm going to show you here the connectors. I actually already have it open, but I want to show you that we have in connector X1, we have, I should be showing myself when I'm talking to. It's been a long day. You will see that I have a mess on the back, but I'm actually bringing a new screen for the shop, and I have some keyboards that I want to have in my toolbox, and I think it's gonna look really pretty. Shop is doing a lot of changes, and it's looking really, really good. Again, Bavarian Motor Repair for those that don't or have not visit that channel, please do. It's a great shop, not because I work with them, is a great shop. It's a great place to work, and I'm very happy to be there. All right, so I'm going to be in the video for you guys, and I want to show you. All right, so we got 3 different connectors, even though they're all marked are X1, and the same thing for X2 and X3. For X2 and X3, it's only 2 of them. I don't think I need my glasses for this, but so what I was able to see is that my powers and grounds and the communication, they were all in the same locations across the board on the 3 different setups. There are differences that I'm going to show you that if otherwise I would have to check specifics, let's say, sensor or an output, I would have to get the PR code and find out exactly what I was working with. Um, all right, so let me bring this up and I want to show you that, let's say I am now in connector X1 LEA, and you can see the One is not being used, but two, three, four, and five, they are used. If I go over to LFX, connector X1, three is not used. And if I go over to connector LFA, 1 through 5 are not even being used. So which one is? You have to be careful when, like myself, I was working in a computer, that I don't have the card to be um, checking the pin wiring colors, because that's what you will do if you're working with a vehicle. You don't have the PR code. You can go over to 1 and 5 and see if it's populated, and it's not LFA. And then if it's any of the other two, then what you will do is go over to the pin out and see, okay, 3 and 4, or 4 and 5 in this case on the LFX are yellow white and gray white. If I go over to the LA, they're completely different colors. You see, well, actually the only difference will be pin 3 that is populated and is not populated on the other one, because looking at the colors yellow white and gray white, they're here too. So you will have no air injection reaction pump pressure sensor being populated on pin 3. So that's the way that you can find out what are you working with. I also went into original wiring to just make sure what do I need to make this computer work, and it shows pretty easy. Again, X2 and X3, pin 73 being ground. We have ignitions on all in connector X1, 51, 52 battery, 72. They show it as well. That's actually the same computer activating the engine control relay and then feeding himself back. That's a way to know that we actually have communication or so. And they don't show. You see this pin 70. They told you about data communication schematics, and that is actually it is true. It's a wake up uh, data line, but it's just an ignition. It's coming from the body control module to wake up all the modules, including the computer. So you turn the ignition, the body control module, which is also, I think, in this vehicle, the gateway. It will wake up the rest of the modules, and then have because you in this one you have GM, CAN, high speed and low speed and medium speed. So for the computer, we're using the high speed network. Obviously, it's fast communication because it's quick decisions that has to be made. All right, so this is as far as the homework that I did. Going back into the computer, I cannot really turn around because it is live and working, but I want to go back and show you something too because, all right, so I'm going to go out of the scanner and I want to do an auto scan again. I want to show this for Manuel. Again, this is Manuel and Lisber, that we have plenty of communication and the computer is actually working good. Again, 2013 Equinox, and that is your big number. You can see it right there. So your computer is good to go and ready to be put back in the car. So I'm now going to get actually out of the scanner. Yeah, I'm actually here, so I can turn this off and you will see, well, actually, this just went off by time. We can see the fiber reference in there, so I can turn this off and everything goes off. And I'm going through my very handy always power supply. That one is stronger than what I have here because this one was just rebooting, and I'm going to show you that. So I want to just carefully flip this over so you guys can take a pic of that computer, and I will show you in a second. I have the pictures in high definition. I will put those as part of the video so you guys can see that as well. I do my homework and I like to save everything that I'm working. We have the screen recording, so that's not a problem. As you can see, this is the computer. I always take a picture of the before and after. This is when it's sealed. Yes, the way it came to me. And now the computer completely open. So that's the way this computer looks. It has a lot of heat dissipation. As you can see here, the way that GM made these computers is all these pins are not even soldered. So all from these three connectors, as you can see in the screen, are just through the board. The board has all this yellow paste in here as a thermal paste that goes around the board, but we see only these three connectors. On the upper section of the board, there are more. You see these pins right here and these pins right here. So there's actually more to see on this computer being populated here. I don't need to remove the board because of the actual failure, but there is more in there that it's not a common problem, but we have in there, injectors and capacitors. The part of the injectors that control the actual injectors is under the board. So if that fails, it's pretty much done because removing that part of the board is really, really hard. I mean, it can be done. You have to put a lot of heat and then start to lift the board very carefully. And then what I always do, if I ever do that, is check the connections, and if not, just solder the pins to the board, and then everything is good. But that's just a recommendation in case you need to have something like that done. Let me just turn this off. What else? You already guys saw that. As you can see, I also had the um, wiring diagrams colored. I always like to corroborate, make sure all the information back and forth is true, and then I can make that work. All right, so but going back, you will see what is going to happen in a second, and I want to share this with you right there, right there. As soon as I put the ignition on, it kind of like cycles off. The reason it's doing that, and you can see that that went off, is everything is good. You can see its communication, the firewall reference is up, but you see how this boot up. It momentarily, the way this computer is designed for what is behind here, it draws more than what any of my power supplies can keep for a fraction of a second. Doesn't mean that anything is wrong. And as you can see, the consumption right now is zero point 0.7. And that includes the BCI, and that includes anything that has this internally. But everything is working good. And I want to show this again on the video. We'll do again the auto scan so you guys can see that indeed the computer after a reboot is working 100%. And this is what I always do for all the customers. I show that, it's done and it's done correctly. All right, so again, that is the big number and everything is working good. It's pretty quick. So let's can go again to the quick access and select the ECM and then see the 5 reference on that fuel data stream that we can see. And like that, if you're working on these cars, you can also do it. Because if you want to know if all the 5 references are working, you not even need to go on the vehicle. If you have a problem, you just go over to read data stream, fuel system data, and then you have the first thing is all the firewall reference. Select the firewall reference, circuit status. If it one shows us as not okay, then go and unplug sensors because these are showing all good. If you don't have a firewall reference and it shows us a circuit status not okay, that doesn't mean the computer is bad. It can be the case, but what you need to start with is by unplugging anything that is connected to firewall reference 1 and see if the firewall reference come back into the computer. Cycle the ignition, which is always a good thing to do. And then if it doesn't come back, then you can call the computer. But otherwise, that's what you need to do. All right, guys. Again, I don't want to make the video too long. Hopefully, this also helps somebody that is in problems and they want to send the computer this way. I will be definitely be working and try to repair the computer as quick as possible. As usual, you're in good hands. Manuel, I'll be calling you shortly. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Pura vida. See you next time. Bye bye. Pura vida means pure life. That's a Costa Rican saying. For those that doesn't know, I am from Costa Rica, and that is a picture of my hometown.